At my age, I never expected to be standing in a bank at 60 years old, asking a manager to show me 5 years of wire transfers to my son. But there I was, watching her pull up screen after screen of numbers while my hands went cold. The manager, a young woman with kind eyes, kept glancing at me like she wanted to say something. Finally, she turned the monitor toward me. "Mrs. Thompson, according to our records, you sent $127,000 to this account since January 2009. I sat there staring at that number. $127,000. I heard myself say, "That can't be right," even though I knew it was. She printed the statement. 12 pages. I folded them carefully, put them in my purse, and walked out into the parking lot, where I sat in my car for 20 minutes before I could drive home. If this sounds familiar, stay with me. You can like and subscribe. We talk about things we don't say out loud. I need to tell you how this started, because it didn't begin with betrayal. It began with love. It began the way these things always do, with a mother wanting to help her child. My son Derek is 35 years old now. He's my only child. His father, my husband Marcus, passed away 8 years ago from cancer. It was just the two of us after that, and I thought that meant we'd grow closer. I thought I was all he had. Derek called me 3 months after Marcus's funeral. It was a Tuesday evening. I remember because I was making the meatloaf Marcus used to love, even though there was no one to eat it but me. "Mom, I need to talk to you about something," Derek said. His voice had that tone, the one that meant he needed money. He'd been let go from his job. Something about company restructuring. He had rent due in 5 days. His girlfriend Shayna was pregnant, and they were scared. He asked for $1,200 to get them through the month. I didn't even hesitate. What kind of mother would I be if I let my son and his pregnant girlfriend get evicted? I went to the bank the next morning and wired the money. "Thanks, Mom. I'll pay you back as soon as I find something. I promise." I told him not to worry about it. That's what mothers do. We help our children when they're struggling. Marcus would have done the same thing. The baby came that December. A beautiful little girl they named Olivia. I drove 4 hours to meet her at the hospital. I brought diapers, clothes, a car seat, formula. I'd spent $600 at Target the day before, wanting to make sure they had everything. Derek hugged me in the hospital parking lot. "I don't know what we'd do without you, Mom." I felt needed. I felt like I still mattered after Marcus was gone. I thought I was building something, a relationship where my son knew he could count on me. 2 months later, he called again. Shayna wasn't working yet because of the baby. His new job didn't pay as much as the old one. Could I help with the electric bill? It was $340 and they were going to shut it off. I sent $500. I figured they'd need groceries too. Then it was the car insurance, $890 for 6 months. Then the pediatrician visit their insurance didn't cover. $215. Then Olivia needed a better crib because the used one they had was wobbly. $380. By the end of that first year, I'd sent Derek $8,400. I know because I kept a little notebook. I told myself I was keeping track so he could pay me back when he got on his feet. But really, I think I was keeping track because some part of me already knew something was wrong. I just didn't want to see it yet. Derek never missed a birthday call. He never missed Christmas. He'd send me photos of Olivia every few weeks. "She's getting so big, Mom." Wish you could see her more. But he lived 4 hours away, and he was always too busy to visit. He had to work weekends. Shayna's family needed help. The baby was teething. I understood. I told myself I understood. My friend Julie came to visit me on my 57th birthday. She'd driven an hour just to have lunch with me because Derek had called that morning to cancel his visit. Shayna's sister had an emergency, he said. "They come next month," he promised. Julie brought flowers and a chocolate cake. We sat at my kitchen table and she asked me how I was really doing. "I'm fine," I said. "Derek's just busy with the baby and work. You know how it is." Julie looked at me for a long moment. "She's known me since high school. She can read me better than anyone." "Janet," she said quietly, When was the last time Derek visited you? I thought about it. Christmas. No, wait. That was the year before. He FaceTimed me last Christmas. And when was the last time he called you without needing something? I opened my mouth to answer and realized I couldn't remember. Julie reached across the table and squeezed my hand. I'm not trying to upset you on your birthday. I just worry about you sometimes. He hugged me. Then he said, Hey, I hate to ask, but we've got some credit card bills from Christmas and we're kind of drowning. Could you help us out with maybe 1,200? Just to get us through January? I stood there in his driveway in the cold and felt something shift inside me. Something small, something I didn't want to name. But I said yes. I transferred the money on Christmas night from my phone while sitting in a hotel room halfway home. When I got back, Julie stopped by with leftover pie from her family dinner. How was it? She asked. Good, I said. Olivia's getting so big. Julie sat down at my kitchen table. Janet, can I ask you something without you getting mad at me? Of course. How much money have you given Derek this year? I felt my chest tighten. I don't know exactly, maybe 10,000. Julie just looked at me. She didn't say anything. She didn't have to. He's going to pay me back, I said. Has he paid back any of it? I didn't answer. Janet, honey, you're eating frozen dinners, and you told me last month you couldn't afford to get your tooth fixed. But Derek's got a new tablet. He needed it for work, I said weakly. Julie reached across and took my hand. I love you. You know that. And I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. I just want you to be okay. After she left, I opened my blue notebook. I added up everything from 2009. Not 10,000. 18,600. I felt sick. But I told myself 2020 would be different. Derek had said once Shayna's job became full-time, they'd be stable. It was coming. I just had to hold on a little longer. 2020 started with a call on January 8th. Derek's car had a problem, something with the engine. 2,100 to fix it. Without the car, he couldn't get to work. I sent the money. February. Olivia needed to see a specialist because she wasn't talking as much as she should be for her age. Insurance wouldn't cover it all. $680 for the evaluation and first appointments. I sent the money. March. COVID hit. Derek got furloughed. Shayna's dental office closed. I sent $4,000 to cover 3 months of their expenses. I told myself this was different. This was a pandemic. Everyone was helping everyone. By December 2020, I'd sent Derek 27,000. I'd stopped writing everything down in the notebook. It hurt too much to see the numbers add up. Instead, I just sent the money whenever he asked and tried not to think about it. My sister Emma called me on New Year's Eve. Leo told me you're still giving Derek money, she said. It's been a hard year for everyone, Emma. It's been a hard year for you too, Janet. When was the last time Derek helped you with anything? I thought about that. Marcus had been gone for 4 years. Derek had never offered to help clean out his father's things. He'd never offered to fix the porch steps that were rotting. He'd never just called to check on me without needing something. He's busy with Olivia, I said. Emma was quiet for a moment. You know what Mom used to say? She said the biggest mistake a parent can make is teaching their child that love and money are the same thing. Our mother Scarlett had died when I was 45. She'd been a practical woman, direct. I wondered what she would say if she could see me now. After I hung up with Emma, I sat alone while fireworks went off somewhere in the neighborhood. I thought about calling Derek to wish him Happy New Year, but I didn't. Because I knew if I called and he didn't ask for money, I'd feel relieved, and if he did ask for money, I'd feel disappointed. And I didn't want to know which one it would be. 2021 started with silence. Derek didn't call on New Year's Day. He didn't call on January 2nd or 3rd either. By January 5th, I broke down and called him. Hey, Mom, he answered. I could hear a TV in the background. What's up? I just wanted to hear your voice, I said. See how you're doing. Oh yeah, we're good. Busy, you know. Hey, can I call you back? We're in the middle of something. He didn't call back. But he texted me 3 days later, "Mom, can you Venmo $4.50? Olivia needs a new car seat and some other stuff. I sent it within 5 minutes." Then I sat there staring at my phone, waiting for a thank you. It came 2 hours later. Just, "Got it, thanks." February 14th, Valentine's Day. I saw on Facebook that Derek and Shayna had gone out to dinner. They'd posted photos. They looked happy. Shayna had a new dress on. Derek was wearing a sweater I didn't recognize. I wondered who watched Olivia. I wondered how they afforded a nice restaurant when I'd sent them $600 just the week before for their electric and water bills. I didn't say anything. What kind of mother begrudges her son a nice evening with his girlfriend? They deserved to have some happiness. But I ate a frozen dinner alone that night and wondered when I'd last been to a restaurant. My 58th birthday came in March. I didn't expect Derek to visit. I'd learned not to expect that anymore, but I thought he'd call. He sent a text at 3 p.m. "Happy birthday, Mom. Hope you have a great day." I stared at that heart emoji for a long time. I texted back, "Thank you, sweetheart. Would love to hear your voice when you have a minute." He called at 9,003 that night. "Hey, Mom. Sorry I'm calling so late. It's been crazy today. Did you have a good birthday?" "It was quiet," I said. "Julie took me to lunch." "That's nice. Good old Julie." "Hey, Mom. I hate to do this on your birthday, but our rent went up again. $200 more a month. Can you help us cover it for a few months until I get my raise?" I felt something crack inside my chest. Something small but sharp. "Sure," I heard myself say. "I can do that. You're the best, Mom." "Love you. Gotta run. Olivia's losing her mind over here." He hung up. I sat on my couch in the dark and thought about Marcus. Marcus would have driven to Derek's house and had a conversation. A hard conversation. But Marcus wasn't here, and I didn't know how to be the kind of mother who said no. Julie called the next morning to check on me. "How was the rest of your birthday?" "Fine," I said. There was a pause. Julie knows my fine voice. What happened? I told her about Derek's call, about the rent money, about the text instead of a phone call until he needed something. "Janet," Julie said carefully, "have you ever told him you can't afford this?" "I can afford it," I said. "I have Marcus's life insurance. I have my savings." That's not what I asked. I didn't answer her. "How much is left?" Julie asked. "Of Marcus's life insurance?" I'd started with 180,000 after the funeral expenses. I'd told myself it would last me into my 70s if I was careful. I'd planned to travel a little, maybe fix up the house, maybe not worry so much about every penny. "Enough," I said. But the truth was, I didn't know anymore. I'd stopped looking at my statements. Every time I logged into my bank account, I felt this wave of nausea, so I just stopped looking. Spring turned to summer. Derek called every 2 or 3 weeks. It was always the same pattern. 5 minutes of catching up. "Olivia's doing great. Work is busy. Shayna says hi." Then the ask. "Car registration. $380. Olivia's birthday party. $650, new tires, $720, medical bills, $440, AC repair, $890. In June, I got a bill for a crown I needed. $1,800. My tooth had been hurting for months, but I'd been putting it off. I looked at my bank balance. I could afford it. Technically. But Derek had just asked for help with his car insurance, and I knew his inspection was coming up soon, and there'd probably be something wrong with his car that would need fixing. I called the dentist and cancelled the crown. I told them I'd reschedule later. I took ibuprofen and tried not to chew on that side. Thanksgiving 2021. Derek said they were going to Shayna's parents' house. It was closer, and Shayna's mom was doing the cooking, and it was just easier with Olivia. "You understand, right, Mom?" "Of course," I said. "Have a wonderful time. I spent Thanksgiving with Julie and her family. They were kind to me, welcoming." But I sat at their table and felt like a charity case, someone to pity. The widow whose son was too busy for her. Julie's daughter, who was 32, asked me about Derek. "How's your son doing, Mrs. Thompson? Julie says he's got a little girl now." He's doing well, I said. Very busy. He works hard to take care of his family. Under the table, Julie squeezed my hand. Christmas came. I asked Derek in October if they were planning to visit. I wanted to know early so I could plan, so I could prepare, so I could look forward to something. We're going to try, Mom. I'll let you know. November. Still not sure about Christmas, Mom. Work is crazy. December 15th. I don't think we can make it this year, Mom. Shayna's parents are hosting, and they really want Olivia there, you understand? I bought presents anyway. Shipped them. 680 in gifts that arrived at their house on December 22nd. Derek texted, "Packages came. Thanks, Mom. You didn't have to do all that." But I did have to. Because if I didn't, what was I? What was I to them if I wasn't the grandmother who sent gifts and money? What was I if I wasn't useful? I spent Christmas Day alone. I called Derek around noon. Shayna answered. "Oh, hi, Janet." "Derek's outside with Olivia. They're trying out her new bike." "Hold on," I heard her yell for him. "Then he says he'll call you back in a bit." He called back at 8 p.m. "Hey, Mom. Merry Christmas. Sorry, it's been nuts here all day. Shayna's whole family was over. How was your day?" "Quiet," I said. "That's probably nice though, right?" "Peaceful." I thought about the silence, about the frozen turkey dinner I'd heated up, about how I'd wrapped a present for myself just so I'd have something to open. "Yes," I said, "peaceful." "Good. Hey, Mum, before I forget, our credit card bill is killing us from Christmas. All the presents for Olivia and Shayna's family. Could you help us out with like 1,500, just to get us through January?" I felt dizzy. I was sitting down, but I felt dizzy. "Mom? You there?" "Yes," I said. "I'll transfer it tomorrow. You're a lifesaver. Love you. Gotta go. Olivia's having a meltdown." He hung up. I sat there holding the phone, and for the first time, I let myself think the thought I'd been pushing away for 3 years. He doesn't love me. He loves what I give him. But then I felt guilty for thinking it. He was my son. He was just going through a hard time. He was stressed. He had a child to raise. This wasn't about love. This was about survival. I told myself that. I made myself believe it. When 2022 started, I made a resolution. I was going to track every penny again. I was going to set a limit. I was going to have a conversation with Derek about paying me back. But January 4th, Derek called. He'd been in a fender bender. Nothing serious, but insurance deductible was $1,000. Could I help? I sent the money. I didn't track it. I didn't set a limit. I didn't have a conversation. In March, on my 59th birthday, Derek didn't text until 11:47 p.m. "Sorry, Mom, just realized it's your birthday. Hope it was great. Love you." I typed back, "Thank you. Would have been nice to hear your voice." I stared at that message for 5 minutes before I deleted it and wrote instead, "Thank you, sweetheart." Julie came over the next day and found me crying at my kitchen table. "What is it?" she asked, sitting down next to me. "I think I did this," I said. "I think I taught him that this is okay, that he can treat me like an ATM, that I don't matter except for what I can give him." Julie pulled me into a hug. "You didn't teach him that, honey. You loved him." "There's a difference." "Is there?" I asked. I didn't know anymore. All I knew was that I was 59 years old and my son called me twice a month to ask for money and barely remembered my birthday, and I had nobody to blame but myself. Because I kept saying yes. I kept sending the money. I kept accepting the crumbs he threw at me and calling it love. It happened on a Tuesday in September 2022, 6 weeks after my 60th birthday, that Derek had forgotten entirely until I called him 3 days later. I was at the bank because my debit card had been declined at the grocery store. Just 43 worth of groceries. Milk, bread, eggs, chicken. Basic things. The cashier had run it twice, and both times it came back declined. I'd stood there with people lined up behind me, my face burning with embarrassment, and told the cashier I'd just made a mistake. I left the groceries and walked out. At home, I tried to check my account online, but I'd forgotten my password. I'd changed it 6 months ago after some security email and never written it down. So I drove to the bank. The manager, Sarah, was the same woman who'd helped me set up my account when Marcus died. She remembered me. "Mrs. Thompson, how can I help you today?" "My card was declined, and I can't log in online. I just need to check my balance." She pulled up my account. I watched her face change. Just slightly. A small tightening around her eyes. "Your checking account is at 247, she said carefully. I felt confused. "That can't be right. I should have more than that." "Let me check your savings," she said. I waited. My heart was starting to beat faster. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. "Your savings account shows 1,040, Sarah said. She wasn't looking at me. She was looking at her screen with that professional mask people wear when they're seeing something they wish they weren't. The room tilted. 1,340? No, that's not right. There should be over $40,000 in savings. Sarah's voice was gentle. "Mrs. Thompson, would you like me to pull up your transaction history?" I nodded. I couldn't speak. She turned the monitor toward me and started scrolling, screen after screen of transfers, all going to the same account. Derek's account. 500, 800, 1,200, 602,000, 400 and 500, 890, 3,000. Over and over and over, going back months, years. "Would you like me to print a detailed statement?" Sarah asked quietly. "Say, the last 5 years." "Yes," I whispered. She printed it. 12 pages. She printed it. 12 pages. I watched them come out of the printer one by one. She paper-clipped them together and put them in an envelope. "Mrs. Thompson, I need to ask, are these transfers authorized? Sometimes we see patterns like this in cases of Eldrin." "He's my son," I said. "I sent him the money." "He needed help." Sarah nodded slowly. "The total transferred to this account since January 2019 is $170.18. I heard the number, but it didn't feel real. It felt like she was talking about someone else, some other woman who had given away everything. "There are also multiple cash withdrawals," Sarah continued. "It looks like you've been taking out $200 and $300 in cash several times a month." I had. For groceries, for gas, for the small things you need to live. I'd been pulling out cash because I didn't want to look at my account balance. I didn't want to see the number going down. "Mrs. Thompson, are you okay? Can I get you some water?" I shook my head. I took the envelope. I walked out to my car. I sat there in the parking lot for 20 minutes, just staring at that envelope. Then I opened it, and I read every single page. January 2019 through September 2022. Every transfer, every amount, every date. And that's when I saw it. The thing that broke something in me that couldn't be fixed. August 15, 2022. My 60th birthday. The birthday Derek forgot. On that day, I had transferred $1,800 to his account. I'd sent it without him even asking, because he'd mentioned the week before that their car inspection was coming up and he was worried about the cost. I'd sent my son $1,800 on my 60th birthday, a birthday he forgot. And 3 days later, on August 18th, Derek had posted on Facebook. I'd seen it at the time, photos of him and Shayna at some kind of concert. They were smiling, drinks in hand. The caption said, "Finally, a date night. Thanks, Shayna's mum, for watching Olivia." I sat in that parking lot and I calculated concert tickets, drinks, dinner before or after. Probably $300 and $400 for the evening. He'd forgotten my 60th birthday, but remembered to take his girlfriend to a concert with money I'd sent him. I drove home in a daze. I walked into my house, the house I'd shared with Marcus, the house where I'd raised Derek, and I looked around like I was seeing it for the first time. The kitchen faucet had been leaking for 2 years. I'd gotten used to the drip. The living room carpet was worn through in spots. I'd thrown a rug over the worst parts. I'd been wearing the same winter coat for 6 years because I couldn't justify buying a new one when Derek needed help with his electric bill. I'd cancelled a dental crown and lived with tooth pain for over a year. I'd eaten frozen dinners and skipped meals and told myself I wasn't that hungry anyway. And my son. My son had taken 127,000,000,000,000,518 from me and forgotten my 60th birthday. I called him. I didn't plan to. My hands just found my phone and dialed. He answered on the 4th ring. "Hey, Mom, what's up?" Kind of a bad time. "Derek, I need to talk to you about something." "Okay, but can it wait? We're literally walking out the door. Shayna's parents are taking us to dinner for her birthday." Shayna's birthday. He remembered Shayna's birthday. "How much money have I given you?" I asked. My voice sounded strange to my own ears. Flat, empty. "What? Mom, I don't know. I haven't been keeping track. Why?" 27,000, I said. "I went to the bank today. You've taken 127,000 from me in less than 4 years. There was a pause. "Mom, you offered. I didn't take anything. You said you wanted to help. You forgot my 60th birthday." Another pause. Longer this time. "Mom, I didn't forget. I texted you." 3 days later. "After I called you." "I'm sorry, okay? Things have been crazy. Look, I really can't do this right now." Shayna's parents are waiting. "Do you love me?" I asked. "Or do you just love what I give you?" I heard him sigh. Actually sigh, like I was being difficult, like I was the problem. "Mom, that's not fair. Of course I love you." "You're my mother. But you're being really weird right now and I don't have time for this. I'll call you later, okay? Derrico, I gotta go. Love you. Bye." He hung up. I sat there holding the phone, and I realized something that should have been obvious years ago. He wasn't going to call me later. He was never going to call me unless he needed something. And when I stopped having things to give him, he would stop calling entirely. I had given my son 127,000, and I had bought myself nothing but the illusion that I mattered. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed and stared at the ceiling and felt something I hadn't felt since Marcus died. I felt fury, not the hot, explosive kind, the cold kind, the kind that crystallizes in your chest and becomes something hard and clear. I got up at 3 a.m. I went to my kitchen table. I opened that 12-page bank statement, and I read every single line again. This time, I didn't cry. This time, I saw it for what it was. This wasn't a son struggling and a mother helping. This was a man using his mother like an ATM. This was a pattern of manipulation so smooth, I hadn't even recognized it was happening. Every call that started with small talk and ended with a request, every cancelled visit, every forgotten birthday followed by a need for money. Every time I'd swallowed my hurt and told myself he was just busy, just stressed, just going through a hard time. He wasn't going through a hard time. He was going through my money. And I had let him. For 4 years, I had let him. But I couldn't unsee it now. I couldn't unknow what I knew. As the sun came up on September 13, 2022, I made a decision. I couldn't change Derek. I couldn't make him love me the way I needed to be loved. But I could change what I did next. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at my kitchen table with the bank statements spread out in front of me and a notebook, not the blue one with flowers, a plain spiral notebook. I needed to see it all clearly. I started writing, not just the money, everything. The vacations I didn't take because Derek needed help with his rent. Marcus and I had always talked about seeing the Grand Canyon. We never went. After he died, I thought maybe I'd go alone, honor his memory. But then Derek needed a car repair. Then Olivia needed daycare. Then. I'd never gone to the Grand Canyon. That money was in Derek's account now. The tooth I'd lived with pain for, $1,800 for the crown. I wrote that down. Right next to it, I wrote, Derek's concert tickets, August 2020. The winter coat I needed. 6 years wearing the same one with a broken zipper I kept meaning to replace. $200 for a decent coat. Derek had asked for $200 3 weeks ago for his car registration. I'd sent it the same day. The leaking faucet, $150 for a plumber probably. I'd listened to that drit for 2 years. Derek's new tablet had cost more than that. I kept writing. Page after page, the retirement money I'd planned to use to live comfortably, to maybe move somewhere warmer, to not have to worry. Marcus's life insurance that was supposed to last me 20 years. It was gone in 4. The visits I'd hoped for. The grandparent relationship I'd imagined with Olivia. I'd seen her maybe 15 times in 4 years. She didn't really know me. How could she? I was just the grandmother who sent presents in the mail. 3 Christmases alone, 2 Thanksgivings. 4 birthdays where Derek texted instead of called. I calculated hours. If Derek called twice a month for an average of 10 minutes, minus the 5 minutes he spent asking for money, that meant he'd given me approximately 10 hours of actual conversation in 4 years. 10 hours. I'd bought 10 hours of my son's attention for $107,000. That's $12,700 per hour. I stared at that number. I felt something shift in my chest. Not breaking, hardening. At 6 a.m., I called Julie. I knew she'd be awake. She's always been an early riser. "Janet? What's wrong? Can you come over?" My voice was steady. Calmer than I'd felt in years. "I need to show you something." She was at my door in 40 minutes. I had coffee ready. I'd showered. I put on real clothes instead of the ratty robe I'd been living in. I felt different, clear. I handed her the bank statements. Julie read them in silence. I watched her face change. Shock. Then anger. Then something that looked like grief. "Oh, honey," she finally said, "I sent him $1,800 on my 60th birthday." I said, "He forgot my birthday, Julie." And 3 days later, he took Shayna to a concert. Julie set down the papers. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet, but I know what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to keep pretending this is normal. I'm not going to keep telling myself he's just going through a hard time. And I'm not going to send him another $1. Have you told him that?" "Not yet, but I will." Julie reached across the table and took my hand. "I'm proud of you. I know that doesn't help, but I'm proud of you." "I need to ask you something," I said, "and I need you to be honest with me. Do you think I did this? Do you think I taught him to treat me this way?" Julie was quiet for a long moment. "I think you loved him the only way you knew how, and I think he took advantage of that." "Those are 2 different things, Janet. You didn't make him selfish. You just made it easy for him to be selfish." I nodded. She was right. I had made it easy. Every time I said yes without question, every time I swallowed my hurt, every time I accepted crumbs and called it love. "What should I do first?" I asked. Julie thought about it. "First, you protect yourself. You change your banking passwords. You make sure he can't guilt you into anything while you're figuring this out. Then you decide what kind of relationship you want with him, if any." "If any?" Those 2 words sat heavy in the room. "He's my son," I said. "I know. But that doesn't mean he gets to treat you like this." After Julie left, I sat down at my computer. I changed my bank password. I set up alerts so I'd get a notification for any transaction over 20. I wrote down all my account numbers and put them in a folder. Then I did something I hadn't done in 4 years. I looked at my full financial picture. I had $1,587 in checking and savings combined. I had $23,400 in account that I hadn't touched yet. I had my Social Security, which was $1,640 a month. I had the house, paid off, worth maybe $175,000. I wasn't destitute, but I was 60 years old and I'd given away my cushion, my safety net, my peace of mind. If my car broke down tomorrow, I'd have to use a credit card. If I needed a new roof, I'd have to take out a loan. If I got sick, really sick, I had nothing to fall back on. Derek had taken my security, and I had handed it to him. I called my sister Emma that afternoon. "Janet, hi. Is everything okay?" "Emma, I need to ask you something. Remember what you said about Mom, about teaching children that love and money are the same thing?" Yes, Emma said carefully. How do I undo that? How do I stop? I heard Emma take a breath. Did something happen? I told her everything. The bank visit, the $107,000, the forgotten birthday, the concert, the phone call where Derek had dismissed me. Emma was silent for so long I thought the call had dropped. Emma? I'm here. Janet, I'm so angry at him right now I can barely speak. I know. What are you going to do? I'm not sending him any more money. That's all I know right now. Good, Emma said firmly. That's good. And when he calls asking why, what are you going to tell him? I hadn't thought that far ahead, but I knew the answer. The truth, I said. I'm going to tell him the truth. Do you want me there when you talk to him? Or Leo will come? You don't have to do this alone. The offer made my throat tight. Maybe. Let me think about it. After I hung up with Emma, I sat in Marcus's chair, the one I used to avoid because it hurt too much. I sat there and I thought about what Marcus would say if he were here. He'd be disappointed in Derek. But he'd also be disappointed in me. Not for helping our son. For letting it go on so long. For not standing up for myself. For choosing to be used rather than risk being alone. Marcus used to say, Janet, being kind doesn't mean being a doormat. He'd said it to me more than once when I'd let people take advantage of me. My mother Scarlett had said something similar. You can love someone and still have boundaries, Janet. I hadn't listened. I'd thought boundaries meant you didn't really love someone. I'd thought unconditional love meant giving everything and expecting nothing back. I'd been wrong. That evening, Derek called. I saw his name on my phone, and my first instinct was to answer, to smooth things over. To pretend our last conversation hadn't happened, I let it ring. He didn't leave a voicemail. He texted 30 minutes later, Mom tried to call, just wanted to check in. Also, our water heater broke and the repair guy wants $840. Can you help us out? I stared at that text for a long time. My hands were shaking. Not from fear, from anger. I typed, no. Then I deleted it. I typed, Derek, I can't keep doing this. I deleted that too. Finally, I just didn't respond. He texted again an hour later. Mom, everything okay? Then again at 10 p.m. Mom, seriously, are you mad at me or something? I need to know about the water heater. I turned off my phone. I went to bed. And for the first time in months, I slept. Not well. Not peacefully. But I slept knowing that I'd done something different. I'd said no. Even if it was just silence, it was still no. When I woke up the next morning, I had 7 texts from Derek and 2 missed calls. I read through them all. The first few were confused, then worried, then annoyed. The last one, sent at 1:30 a.m., said, Seriously, Mom, this is ridiculous. I need an answer about the water heater. We have a 4-year-old here. I'll call you tomorrow. I sat there holding my phone, and I realized something. In all those texts, he never once asked if I was okay. He never asked why I wasn't responding. He only asked about the money. That told me everything I needed to know. I called Julie. I need help, I said. I need to figure out what to say to him, and I need you there when I do it. I'll be there, Julie said. Whatever you need. I couldn't change Derek. I couldn't make him see me. But I could change what I accepted. I could change what I allowed. And I could finally put myself first. Derek called me 3 times the next day. I didn't answer. By the 4th call, I was ready. Julie was sitting at my kitchen table when I finally picked up. I'd asked her to be there. I needed a witness. I needed someone to remind me not to cave. Mom, finally, what is going on with you? I've been trying to reach you for 2 days. I know, I said. My voice was calm, steady. I got your messages. Okay, so about the water heater. We really need that money. We've been taking cold showers, and it's not fair to Olivia. I'm not sending you money for the water heater, Derek. Silence. Long enough that I thought he'd hung up. What do you mean you're not sending it? I mean, I'm not sending you any more money. Not for the water heater. Not for anything else. Mom, this isn't funny. We have a kid. We need hot water. Then you'll need to figure out how to pay for it yourself. His voice changed. Got harder. What is this about? Is this because I didn't call you back fast enough the other day? Are you seriously going to punish your granddaughter because you're mad at me? I felt that familiar guilt try to rise up, the instinct to apologize, to smooth things over, to give him what he wanted so he wouldn't be angry. But Julie was looking at me across the table, and I remembered the bank statements. I remembered my 60th birthday. I remembered 127,000. This isn't about punishment, I said. This is about me not being able to afford to keep supporting you. I went to the bank last week, Derek. Do you know how much money I have left? 1587. Well, whose fault is that? His voice was sharp now, mean. You're the one who kept offering to help. You said you wanted to. You said family helps family. I did help. For 4 years. And you never paid back a single dollar. I was going to. You know money's been tight. Money was tight enough that you couldn't pay me back, but not tight enough to skip taking Shayna to concerts and dinners. Another silence. Then, are you tracking what I spend money on now? That's crazy, Mom. That's actually insane. You posted it on Facebook, Derek. On my birthday, the birthday you forgot. I didn't forget, I texted you. 3 days later, after I sent you 1-800. I heard him exhale sharply. I don't have time for this. Are you going to help us with the water heater or not? Julie reached across the table and squeezed my hand. No, I said. Fine, fine. Don't bother calling me then. I guess I know where I stand. Derek Hayne. He hung up. I sat there holding the phone. My hands were shaking. But I'd done it. I'd said no. And the world hadn't ended. You okay? Julie asked. I don't know, I said honestly. I think so. 3 days passed. Derek didn't call. Didn't text. It was the longest we'd gone without contact in 4 years. I spent those days doing small things. I called a plumber and got the kitchen faucet fixed. $20. It felt like a luxury, like I was being irresponsible. But the dripping stopped, and every time I turned on the water, I felt a little bit lighter. I went to the dentist and scheduled the crown. 1,800. I'd have to put it on a payment plan, but the dentist's office said that was fine. The pain would finally stop. I bought a new winter coat, a good one, on sale for $160, navy blue with a hood. When I put it on in the dressing room, I started crying. The saleswoman asked if I was okay, and I just nodded and said I was fine. Julie took me to lunch at a real restaurant. Not expensive, just a local place with good sandwiches. I ordered what I wanted instead of looking at the prices. It was $14. I used to send Derek that much without thinking. When the bill came, I reached for it, and Julie grabbed my hand. My treat, she said. You don't have to. I want to. Let someone take care of you for once. I cried in the restaurant parking lot. Happy tears this time, or maybe just relief. I wasn't sure anymore. On the 6th day, my sister Emma called. Leo and I want to come visit this weekend. Is that okay? I hadn't seen Leo in over a year. Emma in almost 2. You don't have to do that. We want to. We should have come sooner. We should have seen what was happening. They drove in on Saturday morning. Leo brought groceries. Emma brought flowers and a chocolate cake. We sat at my kitchen table and I told them everything. Leo's face got redder and redder as I talked. When I finished, he said, I'm going to call him. No, I said. This is my situation to handle. He took advantage of you, Janet. Our nephew needs to hear. Leo. I put my hand on his arm. I need to do this my way, quietly. I don't need drama. I just need to be done. Emma nodded. What do you need from us? Just this, I said. Just you being here, reminding me I'm not alone. We spent the weekend together. Emma helped me go through some of Marcus's things I'd been avoiding. Leo fixed the loose board on my porch steps. We cooked dinner together and watched old movies and didn't talk about Derek at all. When they left Sunday evening, Emma hugged me hard. "Call me every day if you need to," she said. "Don't disappear on us, okay?" "I won't." 2 weeks went by. Derek still hadn't called. I wondered if he was waiting for me to apologize, to come crawling back, to give in. But something had changed in me. The silence didn't feel like abandonment anymore. It felt like peace. I started doing things I'd stopped doing. I went to the library and checked out books. I joined a walking group at the community center that met 3 mornings a week. I was the youngest one there by 5 years, but everyone was kind. No one asked me for anything. A woman named Patricia invited me to have coffee after one of the walks. We talked about nothing important. Our gardens, the weather, a show we'd both watched. It felt normal, easy. "You should come to our book club," Patricia said. "We meet once a month. It's more about the wine than the books, honestly, but it's fun." I went to the book club. I hadn't bought new clothes in years, so I wore my nicest pair of jeans and the sweater Julie had given me for Christmas 2 years ago. I felt nervous walking in, but everyone smiled and handed me a glass of wine and made space for me on the couch. We talked about the book for 20 minutes. Then we talked about everything else. Grown children, grandchildren, failed marriages and surprising friendships, and what we wanted to do with the rest of our lives. I drove home that night feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Like I was a person, not just a mother, not just a bank account. A person with thoughts and opinions and a life that belonged to me. 3 weeks after our last conversation, Derek finally called. I was at the grocery store. I saw his name and almost didn't answer. But I did. "Mom, hey!" "Hello, Derek. So, listen. I know you're mad or whatever, but I think you're being really unfair. I'm your son, your only child, and you're just going to cut me off because I asked for help." "I didn't cut you off, Derek. I stopped sending you money." "That's the same thing." "Is it? Because you haven't called me in 3 weeks except to tell me I'm being unfair. You haven't asked how I am. You haven't apologized for forgetting my birthday or for taking $127,000 from me and never paying a cent back. I don't have to listen to this. You're right. You don't. Goodbye, Derek." I hung up. My hands were steady, my heart was pounding, but I felt strong. He texted me an hour later. "I can't believe you're acting like this. Shayna's right. You've always been manipulative." I stared at that text for a long time. Manipulative. Me. The woman who'd given everything and asked for nothing back. I blocked his number. I didn't think about it. I didn't agonize over it. I just did it. Then I finished my grocery shopping. I bought things I wanted. A good steak, fresh strawberries, the expensive coffee. At the checkout, my total was $87. I handed over my card without fear. It went through. I had enough. That night, Julie called to check on me. "I blocked Derek's number," I told her. "How do you feel?" I thought about it, really thought about it. "Lighter," I said. Over the next month, I kept building my life back. Small things. I painted my bedroom a soft grey colour I'd always liked. I bought new sheets. I adopted a cat from the shelter, an old orange tabby named Rusty who'd been there for 6 months. Rusty slept on my bed and purred when I came home and needed nothing from me except food and the occasional scratch behind his ears. It was the healthiest relationship I'd had in years. I picked up hours at the library where I'd been volunteering. It wasn't much. Just 15 an hour for 2 days a week. But it was mine. Money I earned that nobody could ask me for. Thanksgiving came. Emma invited me to her house in Ohio. I drove the 3 hours and spent the holiday with her family. Her kids, my niece and nephew, both in their 20s, asked me about my life. Really asked. Really listened. On Christmas morning, I woke up in my own bed with Rusty purring beside me. I made myself a good breakfast. I called Julie and Emma. I went to Patricia's house for dinner with the book club women. I didn't wait for Derek to call. I didn't check my blocked messages. I didn't wonder what he was doing or if Olivia had liked her presents. Because I hadn't sent presents, I'd taken that money and put it in a new savings account. $500. just a start. But it was mine. For the first time in 4 years, Christmas wasn't about what I could give Derek. It was about what I could finally give myself. Peace. It's been 6 months since I blocked Derek's number, 6 months since I stopped being the mother who said yes to everything and became the woman who finally said no. I'm sitting in my living room right now. Rusty is asleep on the chair Marcus used to love. The faucet in the kitchen isn't dripping anymore. My tooth doesn't hurt. I'm wearing my navy blue coat even though I'm inside because I just got back from my morning walk with the group and I'm still warming up. My savings account has $3,847 in it. Not much, but it's growing. Every 2 weeks, I add another $240 from my library job. I watch that number go up instead of down, and something in my chest loosens a little more each time. I don't know if Derek ever thinks about me. I unblocked his number 2 months ago, not because I wanted to talk to him, but because I realized I wasn't afraid anymore. If he calls, I'll answer. If he doesn't, I'll be fine. He hasn't called. Emma told me last month that she'd heard from him. He'd reached out asking if she knew why I was acting crazy and cutting him out of my life. Emma said she told him the truth, that I wasn't cutting him out. I was just done being used. She said he got quiet. Then he said I'd always been dramatic and hung up. I don't know if Derek will ever understand what he did. I don't know if he'll ever see me as anything other than the mother who stopped giving him money. And I've had to accept that. I can't make him love me. I can't make him respect me. I can only decide what I'm willing to accept. And I'm not willing to accept crumbs anymore. Last month, I did something I've been thinking about for weeks. I drove 4 hours to Derek's town. I didn't tell him I was coming. I parked outside a playground near his apartment building and waited. After about an hour, I saw them. Derek, Shayna and Olivia. She's 5 now, getting so big. They were playing on the swings. Derek was pushing her and she was laughing. He looked like a good father in that moment, attentive, present. I sat in my car and watched for 20 minutes. Then I drove home. I don't know what I was looking for. Maybe proof that he was okay. Maybe proof that he didn't need me after all. Maybe just to see my granddaughter one more time. When I told Julie about it, she asked me if I regretted not going up to them, saying hello. No, I said, because if I had, Derek would have seen it as a sign that I was ready to go back to how things were, and I'm not. Do you think you'll ever have a relationship with him again? Julie asked. I thought about that. I'm still thinking about it. Maybe, I said, but it would have to be different. He'd have to acknowledge what he did. He'd have to change. And I don't know if he's capable of that. And if he's not, then I'll be sad. But I'll be okay. The truth is I am sad. Some days more than others. Some days I wake up and remember that I have a son who doesn't call. A granddaughter I barely know. And it hurts in a way that doesn't really go away. But I also wake up in a house that's mine. With a cat who curls up next to me, with friends who call just to talk, with money in my account that's actually staying there, with a life that feels like it belongs to me again. My brother Leo calls me every Sunday now. We talk about nothing important, sports, the weather, his grandkids. He doesn't mention Derek unless I bring him up. But last week he said something that stuck with me. You seem lighter, Janet. Happier. I am, I said. And I meant it. The book club women threw me a birthday party last month. My 61st birthday. There were 8 of us crowded into Patricia's living room. They'd made a cake, bought me flowers. We drank wine and laughed until my sides hurt. Patricia gave me a card. Inside, she'd written, to new beginnings and old friends who feel like new ones. I cried, not sad tears, just overwhelmed by the realization that I'd spent 4 years begging my son to remember my birthday, and these women I'd known for 4 months had remembered without me asking. That's when I understood something important. Love isn't supposed to be this hard. It's not supposed to hurt all the time. It's not supposed to make you feel small and invisible and used up. Real love, healthy love, doesn't ask you to disappear so someone else can shine. If stories like this resonate, stay connected, like, and subscribe. We talk about real things here. I've started going to a therapist. Her name is Dr. Morgan. I see her every other week. She's helping me understand why I let it go on for so long, why I confused sacrifice with love, why I thought being a good mother meant giving everything until there was nothing left. In our last session, she asked me what I would say to Derek if I could say anything without fear of how he'd react. I thought about it for a long time. I'd tell him that I loved him, I said. But I loved him wrong. I taught him that my love meant he never had to face consequences, never had to be uncomfortable, never had to think about anyone but himself. And I'm sorry for that, because I didn't do him any favors. I didn't make him stronger. I made him entitled. Do you think you'll ever tell him that? Dr. Morgan asked. Maybe, if he ever asks, but I don't think he'll ask, and I'm learning to be okay with that. I'm learning a lot of things at 60 years old that I wish I'd learned at 30. That boundaries aren't mean, that saying no doesn't make you a bad person, that you can love someone and still protect yourself from them, that being alone is different from being lonely, that you can't pour from an empty cup, and I spent 4 years trying. Last week, I got a Facebook message from Shayna. Just a few lines, Janet. Derek doesn't know I'm reaching out. But I wanted you to know that Olivia asks about you sometimes. She remembers the presents you used to send. I thought you should know. I read that message 5 times. Then I wrote back, thank you for telling me. If you ever want to bring her by for a visit, you're welcome any time. But I need you to understand something. I can't go back to how things were. I can't be the grandmother who just sends money and gets nothing back. If we have a relationship, it has to be real. She hasn't responded yet. Maybe she won't. Maybe Derek found out she messaged me and told her not to. Maybe she realized it would be too complicated, but I meant what I said. The door isn't locked, but it's not wide open either. This morning, I sat at my kitchen table with my coffee and Rusty purring in my lap, and I thought about Marcus. About what he'd think of the woman I've become in the 6 months since I finally said no. I think he'd be proud. I think he'd say, it's about time, Janet. I think he'd pour me a second cup of coffee and tell me to stop being so hard on myself. I miss him. I always will. But I don't feel as lost without him as I used to, because I'm not trying to fill his absence with Derek's approval anymore. I'm just trying to build a life that feels good. That feels honest. That feels mine. Yesterday, Julie and I drove out to the state park. We hiked 3 miles. Not much, but more than I've done in years. We sat on a bench overlooking the valley and Julie said, you know what I'm proud of you for? Not just that you stopped giving Derek money, but that you started giving yourself something. Time, attention, kindness. She was right. That's what I'm learning to do, give myself what I kept giving to everyone else. I don't know what the next chapter looks like. Maybe Derek will reach out and we'll have a real conversation. Maybe he won't, and I'll have to grieve the relationship I wanted but never really had. Maybe Shayna will bring Olivia by and we'll start building something new, or maybe none of that will happen. Maybe my family now is Julie and Emma and Leo and Patricia and the book club women and Rusty and the librarian who always saves the new mysteries for me. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's more than enough. At 60 years old, I'm learning that you can't make people love you the way you need to be loved. You can't sacrifice yourself into mattering. You can't give away everything and expect to be whole. But you can start over. You can say no. You can choose yourself, even when it feels impossible, even when it feels selfish, even when everyone tells you that's not what mothers do. I kept sending money to my son because I thought that's what mothers do. Now I know better. Mothers love their children, but they're allowed to love themselves too. And for the first time in 4 years, that's exactly what I'm learning to do.